Gerry Klaskala cooks the appetizer in Atlanta this time. It's salmon roll-ups, steamed in gingered lemongrass broth and served with snow peas, mushrooms, and leeks. Then from Beaufort, South Carolina, Casey Taylor dips into Southern heritage with roasted duck legs, stone-ground grits, as well as grits cakes and green beans. Dessert is offered by Chaya Conrad in New Orleans. She combines two Big Easy favorites, with bananas Foster bread pudding served with vanilla ice cream and rum raisin creme anglaise. Gerry Klaskala's popular Atlanta restaurant, Canoe, was under construction at the time of this taping. Since then, it's become one of the city's hottest spots, showing up 2 years in a row in Gourmet Magazine's Top Table Readers poll. His first course features salmon steamed in lemongrass broth.
The first part of the dish with the salmon that we'll be starting with will be the stock for the salmon, or the gingered lemongrass stock. Readily available in most Asian markets and now becoming very available in your neighborhood supermarkets. If not, you're going to need to source it out. What we'll be doing with the lemongrass is it's very tough and very fibrous, and we'll be cutting it, but we'll be extracting the flavor from the lemongrass. We're going to cut it into like chunks.
Fresh ginger is sliced.
Celery, sliced thin.
Finally, a sliced onion.
Okay.
Whole black peppercorns and chicken stock are added over heat.
Yeah, just enough stock just to cover the vegetables. What's going to be important is the cooking time on the stock. We're only going to allow it to cook for 20 minutes. If you cook it longer, the vegetables are going to have more of a overcooked, kind of a cooked taste, and what we're going to try to preserve is the freshness of the vegetables, the pretty smell of the onions, the celery, the ginger, and the lemongrass.
Now the salmon fillet.
And there, now the board is stable and make for a much easier removing of the skin of the salmon.
The pin bones have already been removed.
Okay. Salmon on this dish is we're going to roll the salmon. I'm going to take off about a third of the tail, split the tail, and then we're going to butterfly the fish. Lengthwise, just so the fish opens up. And then we take the two other little fillets, and they'll go back tail end to tail end. Oops, got that backwards, guys. We're going to need to turn the fish over. And place the two smaller fillets inside. And then the fish is then rolled.
The salmon roll is tied at 1 to 2 inch intervals, then cut into serving portions. Meanwhile, the stock is finished.
Okay. Then we take and we're just going to quickly strain the vegetables away from the little vegetable stock. The next step will be setting up a steamer to actually cook the salmon. This is a commercial steamer, and what we'll do is we'll use the 3 cups of the aromatic broth. To actually steam the fish. And with the salmon fillets, season them, a little salt.
Both sides are seasoned before the roulades go into the steamer.
Want to make sure that it's not too high. You just want it just gently simmering. And then the salmon fillets placed in the steamer. We'll start them steaming.
A third of the way through cooking, veggies are added.
We'll start with the leeks. Salt and pepper.
Shiitake mushrooms cooked with diced shallot and celery root and rich chicken stock will be served with the salmon.
At this point we're going to add the snow peas and just finish. The salmon's just about cooked, and the snow peas will go in just in the last minute of the steaming. Now to finish the sauce, just a little touch of soy, a few drops of lemon juice.
The sauce is finished with butter.
We'll move the vegetables over just a touch, and while we're plating the salmon, the snow pea shoots are just allowed to just barely steam.
The leeks and snow peas begin presentation.
Steamed salmon. And at this point, the mushrooms with the celery and the herbs, the ginger sauce, spoon on top of the salmon. Snow pea shoots. On the plate.
The entree is presented at the Rhett House Inn at Beaufort, South Carolina. It's one of a number of restored bed and breakfast spots found along the Carolina coast, but at least here it's more than breakfast. The chef at taping time was Casey Taylor, whose early training was in Charleston. Here are duck legs and grits. The method for the duck quarters is almost like a confit. They go on top of chopped red onion in a roasting pan.
Take 4 duck legs. This is thigh and leg. Okay, skin on. As this duck cooks, the fat under the skin is going to render down, giving you a very moist piece of meat. A little bit of fresh thyme, fresh marjoram. Cut the garlic cloves in half, exposing the flesh on the inside so that the flavors can be extracted. Okay. A few bay leaves. Juice of 2 oranges. Orange and all. Skin's got some natural oils to it, which will also add a little bit of depth to the flavor. A bit of fresh ginger. Again, get a good cross section to expose the flesh from the inside so that the flavors are easily extracted. Okay. Use about a cup white wine. Likewise with soy sauce. And then we'll cover with foil.
The duck could be and probably should be cooked the day before service.
And roast at 350 for approximately 2.5 hours.
Stone ground grits are served two ways, the conventional soft version and as grits cakes.
Traditionally in the southern home, people would come, they would cook their grits in the morning, and what they had left over, they would pan up like this. Then the next afternoon, they would come back, the starches would have bound the grits together into these cake-like shapes. They would cut it out. Okay. See how that holds, how it binds? Dredge that in cornmeal, and then a quick pan fry.
Meanwhile, the roast duck is finished on top of the stove, paired with pieces of country ham.
Add in your brown sugar. Pull your pan off the heat. This is an orange liqueur. Let the alcohol burn off. Let it run. It's going to help to crisp up the duck for you. This is a duck stock. Simmer that. You let it reduce down. As the sugars caramelize, they'll thicken the sauce. The sauce will reduce down to a good sauce consistency and should coat the birds for you.
The cakes are coated in cornmeal and fried. Green beans are served in presentation. The dessert is done at Dickie Brennan's Steakhouse in New Orleans' French Quarter. They say that if you taste the water in the Crescent City, you'll have to return. That was certainly true for pastry chef Chaya Conrad. She came and went 3 times before joining the Brennans. Here's her bananas Foster bread pudding. The chef begins the bread pudding by cubing day-old French bread. It will be combined with custard made in a 2-step process, entirely in a blender. It begins with 12 egg yolks. Also 3 whole bananas.
And the milk. It's a cup and a half of milk. You want to puree that up together. And just pour it over your bread. And let it start to soak. A cup and a half of sugar.
A cup and a half of rum is in the blender.
About half your cream. You want a quart of cream total. You're going to start with about half of the cream. And 3 cups of sugar, brown sugar. Blend that together. Pour that over. Now you want to put the rest of your cream. Your vanilla. And cinnamon. And mix it up. And you're going to want to let it stand for about 15 minutes.
A hotel pan is coated with vegetable spray, then lined with parchment paper.
Then you're just going to put it in the pan.
Cover with aluminum foil. Bake for 2.5 hours at 300 degrees. Then remove the foil and bake another 20 minutes until browned.
Make sure it's even in the pan.
The creme anglaise starts by combining 10 egg yolks with a cup and a half of sugar. They are cooked until pale yellow over boiling water.
You're going to whip the egg yolks and sugar.
They are combined with heavy cream.
Once your cream comes up to a boil, you're going to temper this into your yolks. So you want to take maybe 1/3 of the cream. And then put it back into the... This is so that your eggs don't curdle.
The mixture goes back over the double boiler and is stirred constantly until thickened.
You want to cook this until it starts to get thick. And you want to take it off the heat and set it aside.
Meanwhile, raisins are plumped in white rum over low heat.
Right before I'm done, I'm going to bring it up, turn the heat up high, and get a flame on it. Then I'm going to add this to my anglaise. bread pudding comes out of the oven, it's going to look like this.
It should be refrigerated before cutting.
This gets served with a scoop of ice cream on top. That's vanilla bean ice cream. And then you ladle the